All right, today we are diving deep into a really powerful story of faith and fear from the Quran's Surah Al-Qasas. We're going to explore a detailed, almost forensic analysis of verses 7 through 13, really digging into the incredible psychological journey of Moses' mother as she has to navigate this impossible divine command. So, our journey through this analysis is going to follow the arc of the story itself. We'll start with that initial divine inspiration given to Moses' mother. Then we'll get into her profound human fear, and we'll analyze that critical moment when her heart becomes, quote, empty. After that, we'll look at the divine intervention that strengthens her, which of course leads to the ultimate fulfillment of God's promise. Okay, first up, we're looking at the initial command from God to Moses' mother. It seems like a single instruction, but as this analysis shows, it is packed with layers of meaning and reassurance. So here it is, the foundational verse. Now on the surface, it's a command, right? But what the analysis reveals is that it's actually a complete spiritual and psychological toolkit, perfectly designed for a mother who is facing an absolutely unimaginable choice.
And when you look at the original text, what's so fascinating is how this single revelation really functions as a complete support system. The author points out that it anticipates her fears, her actions, and her deepest hopes, all at the exact same time.
The analysis makes a really critical distinction right away about this communication. This isn't the kind of wahi or legislative revelation that's given to a prophet. No, instead it's described as a direct divine inspiration planted right into her heart, giving her both the knowledge and the strength she was going to need to act.
This slide just brilliantly lays out the architecture of that divine message. The author highlights this perfect symmetry. You see it? 2 commands, 2 prohibitions, and 2 promises. It's a complete guidance system. It doesn't just address what she has to do, but it also addresses how she must feel.
So, the divine command has been given.
But what happens next?
Well, the analysis now shifts to the inevitable human response, this profound, overwhelming fear.
You know, the source really prompts us to just pause for a second and consider the immense emotional conflict here. Think about it. You've received a promise directly from God, but the very first step requires you to do the one thing a parent could never imagine. Place your baby in a river. This is the heart of the human drama that the analysis really digs into.
And this leads us to a critical moment of psychological vulnerability, a state that's captured by a single, incredibly powerful Arabic word that the source spends a lot of time analyzing.
This is the pivot point. According to the text, the word farragun is the absolute key to understanding her human struggle. Her heart became empty. But what does that truly mean?
Well, the analysis presents 2 really profound scholarly interpretations. On one hand, you could say her heart was emptied of everything else, becoming a vessel that contained only the thought of Moses. But the other view is much more harrowing, that in her panic, her heart became empty of the very faith and patience she needed, momentarily wiping out her belief in God's promise.
Ultimately, regardless of which interpretation you lean toward, this state of emptiness brought her to a breaking point. The text's investigation really emphasizes that her overwhelming human emotions, the panic and the grief, nearly caused her to cry out and expose the entire divine plan.
So how was this moment of near catastrophe averted? Well, the source's analysis now focuses on a direct, stabilizing, and incredibly powerful act from God.
This phrase, this signals the turning point in her internal struggle. The human heart, emptied by fear, is now subject to a divine action. We bound her heart. This is a fantastic forensic look at the linguistics here. The source analyzes the word rabatna and explains that it's not just about comfort. The root of the word implies something being fastened, tied down, strengthened, and secured. It was a direct, divine reinforcement, filling that empty heart back up with patience and certainty.
So the author's conclusion is crystal clear. Without this divine intervention, her human fragility would have won out. This binding was the essential act that enabled her to become, as the verse says, of the believers, holding firm to the promise she was given.
So, with her faith now divinely secured, the stage is set for the resolution. The analysis now traces this intricate, almost unbelievable series of events that fulfill God's first promise.
The author just meticulously lays out the chain of events. Each step seems so improbable on its own. His sister's stealth, the ark being found by the one family he was supposed to be saved from, the infant refusing all other sustenance, and then the sister's timely and clever intervention. It's like a divine tapestry being woven from human actions. And here, we see the completion of the narrative arc. The author highlights how this final verse directly echoes the initial promise. Indeed, we will return him to you. The plan, which started with an act of profound loss, culminates in this miraculous reunion.
But the physical reunion wasn't the only goal here. The source text concludes that the entire ordeal served an even higher purpose. It was a profound, real-life lesson for his mother and for all of us, designed to prove beyond any shadow of a doubt the absolute truth of God's promise.
And that's really where this deep dive leaves us. This meticulous reading of just a few verses reveals a universal drama. It shows us a divine plan that doesn't just erase human weakness, but works through it, supports it, and ultimately uses it to demonstrate a much greater truth. It's a powerful testament to the intricate relationship between faith, fear, and providence.